Hi, everybody. It is Craig from Doc Sports, and I got Arun with me here. And you know what that means. It's time for some NBA hoops. We got a big card tonight, 12 games of NBA, and none of these teams played yesterday, I don't believe.
God, I'm so glad the NBA Cup is done.
Yeah. I mean, I like the NBA Cup, but it's like it creates this weird schedule for a couple weeks, so we don't have it anymore. Don't forget, if you want in on our best bets, though, of course, we like all these free plays, but people always say, what's your top plays? They're always over at their website. A couple different ways to get on them. First and foremost, 10% off code STAR10 gets you, say, the NBA, college hoops, NHL, even the top plays if you want the just individual plays in football. You can use this code. So it's $30 per day or $99 per week per sport, those prices are. So use this code and save that. And then, but the best deal we have going on right now is the 2-for-1 football pass. So DocSports.com/Craig Arun gets you $99, get you both of our plays. So you get all the way through, I believe, next Wednesday of games, something like that. So we're going to have, between the two of us, 8 to 10 plays this week. That will include bowls, which is an awesome weekend of bowls, opening weekend of the playoffs, of course. And then, of course, the NFL as well. So make sure you get in on that. Okay, I see. Let's go. Let's run down through these. These are good groups of games, I think. We got the New York Knicks at the Indiana Pacers. Of course, the New York Knicks are they won the Cup in Vegas. Nice comeback win in the fourth quarter. They're favored by 4, total 225.5. What do you like?
I feel like these two teams always play each other, because – and the funny thing is they haven't played each other yet this year. And yet I always feel like these two teams always play each other, the Knicks and the Pacers. So New York is 19-7. They won 9 out of the last 10. Huge win against San Antonio. They covered their last 6 in a row. Give them a lot of credit, winning 124-113. That was a contest where they came back 35-19 to win. By the way, I don't know if you saw the post-game press conference. Josh Hart did something really weird on Brunson. But, you know what I mean?
Give him a little thumb up the rear end. Whoa.
We'll let people Google it and figure it out. Didn't make much sense. I guess that's a joke. Sure. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, dude.
I don't know if I want a friend like that. I'm just saying.
And look, man, I think what happens here is that, Indiana's the same team and the line is too low. When you take a look at the injuries, you have Hart that's listed day-to-day. Maybe these guys are going to rest. Hart, Towns, Anunoby, Robinson are all listed day-to-day. Maybe after this event, they're all going to get some rest. I'm definitely not playing this game because we don't even really know who's playing for New York. I'm going to take the Pacers plus the 4. Craig, Hawks -5 favorite on the road here. My Hawks here. They already beat the Hornets 113-110 once. Hawks coming off a huge win against Philadelphia, 140-117. Didn't cover the 4.5, though. Charlotte coming off a huge win against Cleveland, 119-111 as a 12.5-point dog. Who do you like?
Yeah, Charlotte, they won outright last time out against Cleveland. And now Cleveland loses again today, yesterday. So that maybe this Cleveland team's just, they're not playing great. We know that. But I like this Charlotte team plus the points here. I think they're rested. The big question really has been health with this Charlotte Hornets team. It's been the who's who, Ball and company, that have been out a bunch. It looks like they're healthier now and at home. The first matchup was a 3-point win by Atlanta, but they didn't cover. I think it's similar tonight. If Atlanta wins, I don't think they cover. So let's take the points plus this 5 for the Charlotte Hornets. Next game, Miami Heat -6.5 at the Brooklyn Nets. Total 226.5. The Heat kind of hit a wall a little bit. Tyler Hero came back, and you look what they've done since then. They're under 500. I'm not saying it's his fault, but it's it definitely had things rolling until he came back. And now, what do you like here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, they've lost 6 in a row, and this Hero ball, no pun intended, never works. One guy shooting so many balls and stuff. But, Miami lost to Toronto 96-106 last game. If you take a look at that split, you'll see Toronto outscored them 32-19 in the fourth quarter. A monumental comeback by Toronto. You have a Miami team that's just struggling. They've lost 5 in a row. Can they turn things around? The Nets, of course, come off a monster win against Milwaukee, 27-82. When you take a look at the injury side of things, you have Miami that has Saraf and Thomas that are out, or I should say Brooklyn has Saraf and Thomas that are out, and Miami has Powell and Heroes listed as out for this game, by the way, so it doesn't look like he's going to play. And of course, Powell did not play, or Powell did play his last game, 5 for 15, 20 points, but he's listed as possibly day-to-day in this game too. Let me quickly check the Nets side with Saraf and Thomas. Obviously, Thomas has been out for a while. Saraf not play. Yeah, I think what happens in this game is the question is, do you think Miami's really going to turn things around? especially now that Hero is out. They might. Maybe they're doing it on purpose. I don't know. So I think I'm actually going to take Miami here. I think Miami does turn things around. I think losing to Toronto, and that was a game where they were actually in it. Toronto had to come back to win that game 32-19, which means they were up on Toronto until the very end. And, Hero didn't play that game, but I think they'll be fine in this game. I think they actually played pretty well. And the question is, do you really trust the Nets after a monster win against the Bucks? The Nets have been playing better. They're winning 4 out of their last 6. Will I pull the trigger on this? Probably not, but I'm going to take the Heat here. The Heat have to bounce back at some point. And I can fade the Nets coming off a huge win against the Bucks. Craig and I love doing videos for you every week. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you get all of our videos every single time when you post it, so you get the best lines. As soon as we post it, people jump on it. So if you want to get it as soon as we post it, like and subscribe. All right, Craig, Washington, a 14-point dog against San Antonio. Washington can be a hit or miss as a dog, to be honest with you. These two teams haven't met. How did the Spurs respond from losing to the NBA Cup? They come out beating the Oklahoma City, the Lakers. But then they turned around and gave up a huge, big letdown. New York Knicks came back 35-19 in the fourth quarter and beat them. Washington, of course, coming off a nice win against Indiana, 108-89. They come off a nice cover against Cleveland as well. They're actually playing pretty decent the last couple of games. Who do you like here, Craig, on this big line?
Yeah, I think it's a huge letdown spot for the Spurs. And they can let down and still win this game, but not cover. And I think that's probably what happens here. The Spurs do have some dogs. We've talked about it a million times. Castle, Vassell, Harper, like these guys even Harrison Barnes, these guys they play both ends of the court. They're not just one type of player just sitting out at the 3-point line. They play defense, they play offense, they can drive, they can shoot threes. I do love this team, but I think it's a huge letdown spot after a disappointment there. And like you said, Washington played great against Cleveland, almost won. They win last time as a 10-point underdog at Cleveland when Cleveland had been playing, or not Cleveland, Indiana. Indiana had been playing pretty good up to that point. Let's take Washington plus the 14 in this one. Next game, Clippers and the Thunder. Thunder minus 18, total of 221. Of course, the last time we saw this Thunder team, they were losing in the semifinals of the Cup to that Spurs team, their second loss of the year. Does that, now they've had a few days to think about it, is this like trouble for the Clippers here tonight?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Clippers lost 103-121 against Memphis last time. Lost to Houston 130-115. They could play better, but I don't think they will. Oklahoma City, and even if they play well, Oklahoma City's pissed to the world. I mean, you have a team that comes off of, just their second loss of the year. The last time Oklahoma City lost, you have to go back to the Blazers game, wasn't it? Yeah, November 7th. And then, of course, the next game they beat the Kings by 31. Of course, Vegas got the message. That's why they've listed him as such a massive favorite here. But I'm going to take Oklahoma City no matter what. I would have taken Oklahoma City minus the 20. I'm going to take Oklahoma City off of a loss here. They're going to be ticked off of the world. Injury-wise, Hartenstein and Williams are out for Oklahoma City. L.A. Harden and Niederhauser are still out. Let me see something about Harden real fast here. The last game, Harden actually, that's the crazy thing. Harden actually played in their last game and they still lost. And Harden is out this game. I actually like the over as well. I think without Harden, the Clippers are just going to chuck the ball over and over. And you get an Oklahoma City team that's super ticked off as well. Let me check to see if Hartenstein, when was the last time? Yeah, Hartenstein went 5 for 9 last game. So both these guys likely out in this game. Craig, I like the over here. I mean, without much of their inside presence, and I know this line sits at 221, I think they're just going to chuck the ball. There's going to be so much three-point shooting in this game. And I know 68% of the public's on the over. I don't care. I'm going to take the over between the Clippers as they hook up against Oklahoma City. Craig, the Houston Rockets are a 9.5-point chalk against the Pelicans. These two teams haven't met this year. Last time they met, Houston won 146-117. What I can tell you about Houston is they come off a really disappointing loss against Denver. They were actually favored by 1 on the road at Denver because they had revenge against Denver. And they ended up losing that game 125-128 in overtime. Who do you like here?
Yeah, the Houston is still really upset. The greatest thing with NBA after the day after says what calls they miss. All 3 calls went against them in the overtime. Should have probably won that game. I kind of thought they got jobbed a little bit. Maybe they take it out on New Orleans, but I think they win. Yes, I think Houston will win. New Orleans just playing better basketball, and it really because they got healthy. We had talked about this team, like how bad health was for this team basically all year. They're finally at a point where they just have one guy out. I think Murray's the only guy out. I like Houston to win, but I like New Orleans to cover. 8-2, like you said, against spread speaks for yourself. As a home underdog, getting almost double digits, I think they keep it in single digits here. Don't forget about that free $60 for new customers. Yes, you can get our absolute top plays for free if you're new. All you got to do is type into your URL, docsports.com/ICCT, as you see it on the screen. You'll get a free $60 to try us out. You can use it on anything on the website, including our top plays for the weekend. Good luck. Next game, Raptors at the Bucks. Raptors favored by 5.5, total 219.5. I mean, Milwaukee, the story, of course, they haven't been great when Giannis is out, and looks like he's out again. What do you like here?
Yeah, Toronto's a minus 5.5 point chalk against Milwaukee, and they are 16-11. Milwaukee's 11-16. Toronto already beat this team 128-100, but don't realize that the Bucks lost 82-127 against the Nets, and that was my 7-unit play. It's funny in college basketball in the NBA. Like, I'm plus 3,600 in the NBA. I just won again with the Bulls, right? As they beat the Cavs plus the 5. The day before, I was on these Nets to rout the Bucks. Sometimes you see the board better in the NBA. Sometimes you see the board better in college basketball. You just go through these streaks, just depending on the matchups. And that's kind of the situation here. Injury-wise, you have the Bucks team that's still without Giannis at this point. Kuzma, Anthony, and Green are all listed day-to-day. Toronto is still without Barrett. Did Kuzma, Anthony, and Green play in the Brooklyn game? Kuzma did. Anthony did. And Green did not, right? So you have two of these three guys that'll probably be back this game. It's just an ugly loss, though. Losing 82-127. That's one of their worst losses of the year. 92, 102, 112, 122. Yeah, you're talking about a 45-point loss. And then you have a Toronto team that comes off a nice win against Miami. And a team that's already beaten this team by 28. I kind of want to take the Bucks here just to show some pride, plus the 5.5, to be honest with you. It absolutely won't be on my card because Toronto is 16-11. And that was their first game win against Miami in their last 5 games. But they haven't won back-to-back games since November 24th and 26th. They only beat the Pacers by 2 points. So don't give them too much credit. I'm going to back the Bucks plus the 5.5, man. I think it's worthwhile here coming off such an ugly loss, and I don't trust Toronto coming off a win. All right, Craig, the Detroit Pistons here, 5.5 point chalk against the Mavericks. Detroit's 21-5. They already beat the Mavericks 122-110 early this year. Detroit is a hot team. They've won 4 in a row and 6 of 7. They beat Boston, Atlanta, Milwaukee, and Portland. Pretty good stretch for them. But as it relates to Dallas here, coming off of a loss to Utah, Detroit coming off of a big series of wins here. These two teams have Detroit already beat them once this year, right? In Detroit. You think Dallas is able to get some revenge and bounce back on the plus 5.5?
Just been a different Dallas team, obviously, since they got healthy. They were similar to the Pelicans, where it was the, name a player, they were on the injured list, it seemed like, and missed games. When Anthony Davis came back, it really made this team. Now they go to Utah. They've been playing really well and didn't play any defense. They left the defense at home and just thought, we'll outscore Utah. That's dangerous because Utah, as we saw, they put up 130 plus. It's like this team can score. You have to play defense. I think they learn from their lesson. They come home. They play defense. This is a very good Detroit team. They might win, but I don't think they cover. I think Anthony Davis and company match up really well with this team, and I like them to cover in this matchup. Don't forget, Detroit also they got a big revenge against Boston last time out, so they could maybe be feeling themselves a little bit too. All right, next game, Lakers and the Jazz. Just talked about that Jazz team coming off that nice win against this Mavs team. Lakers, -7, total 243.5. The big question with the Lakers is, can they get back to where we saw that first month and a half of the season? They were a huge surprise. Then they kind of hit a little lull here. Can they get it back here on the road at Utah? They've already played this team, a couple times, right?
Yeah, they beat them 140-126, 108-106. Lakers coming off a nice win against Phoenix, 116-114. They were 1.5 point dog in that game. And, Kleber is listed as day-to-day, but outside of that, they're pretty healthy. Yeah, Austin Reeves is the one that is out. Did Austin Reeves play in their last game?
No.
He did not. And, it didn't matter. But they did go 7 for 37 from three-point land. That's really bad when you shoot 19% from three-point land. So bear that in mind.
Usually you lose, you shoot like that, FYI.
Yeah, but they managed to pull it out, against Phoenix. And part of the reason why is because Phoenix Phoenix actually shot the ball pretty well, but they had 19 turnovers, and that was the difference. Where the Lakers had 21 turnovers. It's not like they were much different, but the big difference was Lakers got 43 free throws, and Phoenix got 25. So that's like 18 more, opportunities to score. So then you have a Utah team. Utah's been playing well. I mean, they're 10-15. We talk about like they're like 5-15 or something. They're 10-15. This team beat Dallas. They beat Memphis. They beat Brooklyn. They've beaten Houston at this point. They've beaten Sacramento. They can easily win this game, and especially with double revenge. And the fact the Lakers got pretty lucky last game, I'm going to take Utah plus the 7 here. Craig, Golden State minus 2.5 point chalk here on the road. I assume you might take the money line, but Golden State here coming off a 118-107 win. They beat the Suns early this year. The question is, can the Suns get revenge? But Golden State's off back-to-back losses. The Phoenix team with revenge. You have a Phoenix team that comes off back-to-back losses themselves to the Lakers in Oklahoma City. Who do you like here? As Golden State's favored by 2.5.
The Warriors just aren't great on the road. And to be honest, the last time out I watched the game, Minnesota didn't have Edwards and a bunch of other guys in that game. And then the next game, like and Steph Curry's playing great basketball. And it's still not enough. He's just not getting enough help right now. It was just on the road that these problems existed. Now they can't even get it done at home. Jimmy Butler's got to give them more. Like Steph Curry can't go for 50 at his age in that usage rate and they survived the season. I'm going to take the Suns here. Booker looked good last time out back. Now he had that rest because of the NBA Cup. I like Booker and the Suns to win out right here. I'm going to take them on the money line to get this done. Orlando Magic at the Denver Nuggets. I am going to have a 7-unit play in this game today. I think it's a really good matchup, and I see a big edge. Denver's favored by 7.5 total, 237. What do you like, I see?
Well, these two teams haven't met this year, and Orlando, of course, lost to New York 120-132 last game. They can obviously bounce back here as a 7.5 point dog. Losing to New York is going to be frustrating for this team. New York shot 61% from the field that game to beat this team. Orlando shot 46% from the field, and they didn't play that bad. I mean, they lost by 12, but they were down by about 8 going into the fourth quarter. Then you have a Denver team that comes off a monumental win over Houston in overtime, winning 5 in a row at this point, beating Sacramento, Charlotte, Atlanta, and Indiana. But they were kind of sketchy against Dallas, a little sketchy against the Spurs as well, and the Kings. They have Houston on deck again. And keep in mind that Denver had beaten this team the last 2 times they played them. The only way I can look at it is Orlando plus a 7.5. I'm a little surprised that more value isn't given on Orlando here, like more people aren't jumping on them. But right now, the early consensus has them 2/3. 2/3 people are on Denver, but I think it's wrong. I'm going to back Orlando here. Craig, the Sacramento Kings are an 8.5 point dog against Portland. Sacramento is 6-20. Portland is 10-16. Sacramento has lost a cool 7 of 8. Nobody thought this team would be good, and they were all correct.
Well, what I like in this game is pretty simple. Like when you look at this team, first of all, look at the Portland team. I watched the entire second half of the Warriors game. They were down like halfway through the fourth quarter. Steph Curry went off on a barrage, and they just came right back at him. Like they have a bunch of dogs on this team. They're so young. Obviously, when you're bad, you end up building through the draft, and it means you have a young team. So you're going to do this. You're going to be up and down and all around. The Kings are just the opposite. They're old. So when you struggle, there's just not the ups anymore. You just like, what are the ups? Like, you're old. You can't compete physically as much anymore. I think, I hate it's this big a number. I was hoping it would be in that 5 range, 4.5, 4, 5. But I don't see how you get around taking the Blazers here at minus 8.5. The Kings, I don't want to use the Q word. It looks like they've quit, though. Give me the Blazers. I'm glad there was a day off or so that way, you know what I mean, they didn't have such a letdown because it was a back-to-back game. Give me the Blazers in this one. All right, so don't forget, if you want to get in on all of our plays, it's very simple. We've got 2 different ways. One, if you want to get in, you use that 10% off promo code STAR10. So like if you want my NBA 7-unit play in that Nuggets and Magic game, you go over there, the day pass, instead of 30 becomes 27. If you want the week, 99 becomes 89. And that will work with me or IC on any of our football or any of our basketball. That's both college, NBA, NHL, or even top play if you want it in football. But don't forget, it's Thursday. What does that mean? It's release day for all of our picks for both college football bowls now, championship, all the all the playoffs, all that. Plus, we have the NFL, so you can get between 8 and 10 plays from between the two of us. DocSports.com/Craig Arun. You will not find that at the website. So if you go over looking for it, you will not find it. You have to use this link. All right, guys, have a great day. IC. Thanks again. We'll see you again next time. Don't forget, click right here at the playlist and get all of our other videos that we have every day.